What's up, y'all? Kyle Hamilton here. I want to give a quick shout out to Lucas, Connor, and Ryan in the Week 0 podcast.
Running out of time, finally thrown, and it is gone! Touchdown, Tyrell Roberts!
Hit backwards, up in the air, it's on the ground, it is down! It is over, and the Irish have knocked off #1 Clemson!
Herbert's got it. Stiff arm again. Quarterback in the clear. Inside the 10. A hat-trick of touchdown from Justin Herbert.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to the Week 0 podcast, where we finally have a fourth member that will hopefully continue to be with us for the foreseeable future, replacing the long and dearly departed Andrew Coster. Josh, NIL money, please. Bryant, do you need that money to make your football team better or to help your football team? Or for both?
Well, I don't know what kind of school Kentucky is anymore. There was that debate at the beginning of the football season. Oh, we're football school. No, we're basketball school. Well, it turns out we're not any kind of school. Actually, I think we're a cheerleading school. I think 25-something national championships. Go Cats.
Straight up. What's the basketball team's record?
Oh God, they dropped like 14. I think they've lost 3 games, but they haven't been able to beat a ranked opponent yet. And that's frustrating.
At least you're not Louisville.
At least you're not Notre Dame losing to Florida State. So
we lost to Utah Valley.
We lost to Boston College. We lost to Tarleton State. So
Virginia Tech did?
We lost to Boston College.
Why the hell are you guys still ranked?
No, we're going to drop out because we were ranked playing them, and then the new rankings will come out. But Ken Palm still has this top 30 right now. So
I don't understand that.
Well, because I don't know.
Notre Dame loses to we lose to Marquette
because
we don't.
I don't know. It's just sure, the Boston College hurts a little bit, but the fact it actually they were
Boston College is better than Florida State.
It would have been a quad 4 loss, but it actually bumps its own self up to a quad 3 because Boston College now has that win over Virginia Tech, so it actually helps Virginia Tech a little bit. But I don't know. I don't understand the net. I don't understand the quads and all that stuff. Whatever they've done with how they come up with the basketball stuff, I don't understand that. So,
what we really want to know is how Lucas feels about being hurt by his own former Oregon Duck.
Who?
Justin Herbert. He gave you guys an L.
Oh, that's all right.
You forgive him?
Honestly, at this point, I think the Jags
accepted that the Jags are going to beat the Jags.
At this point, I don't know if they're still going to get in, but I think the Jags are a more exciting team anyways. I think it would be better to watch them in the playoffs than the Titans.
Tannehill, you might as well just bench Tannehill the rest of the season. Give him a little bit of time.
He's already out.
Okay, good.
He's not playing for the rest of the year, and he hasn't even really been the problem. It's our coaching. I don't understand. I know we're getting into this, but I don't understand how you can run the ball 15 times with the best running back in the league in the first half and then run him twice in the second half. I will never understand that.
The Ravens had nearly 200 yards rushing against the Browns, averaging 8 yards a carry. J.K. Dobbins had 125 yards on 13 carries, and then they run the ball once in the fourth quarter while Tyler Huntley took 30 pass attempts. They were acting like they were down 30 when they were only down 10, and all you have to do is run the damn ball.
Well, what I don't understand is how the Jags all of a sudden, ever since that loss to the Broncos, it's like Trevor Lawrence came back with a fury.
Because they realized how bad they had.
Well, I just think it's hilarious that the Ravens are back to losing to sex offenders at quarterback. So that's pretty funny. They had to take Big Ben for 20 years.
The sex offenders. We're just the ones who had a guy get away with murder. So I'm not sure which is.
had to deal with Big Ben for 20 years, and now Deshaun
Now it's-
Watson.
Hey,
on
you
his
know what,
15,
Lucas?
and then you're like,
Morals and the AFC North should never be said together in the same sentence.
No, that's true.
Apparently they don't have any.
Because even still, Ravens and Steelers fans, we might dislike each other, but we both hate the Bengals more than we hate each other.
hey, it's okay. The Bengals have a woman beater at running back, so I mean,
It's not even for that. It's
all
like,
right.
yeah, it's not even for that. It's like it's just they're like the little brother who thinks that they're all hot shit all of a sudden.
Hey,
because
hey,
they
Connor. Hey.
because they had a one good year. You know what I mean?
Hey Connor, do you even acknowledge Cleveland? Like,
No,
do you? No, me neither.
Hey, what about-
you're a Steelers fan?
So,
I mean,
so at what point
that's the
are
thing,
you guys
like,
going to sign Matt Ariza?
Me and Josh, we're Ravens and Steelers fans, but we don't even acknowledge Cleveland. I don't even acknowledge that we came from Cleveland. You guys don't even like them anymore because we all liked them up until when they beat you in the play. Everyone likes the Browns when they had that good season 2 years ago.
Mhm.
And then the Deshaun
Baker
Watson stuff
Mayfield.
happened. Now they're the most hated team in the league, pretty much, other
So-
than Washington.
So, Connor, which one of the teams in that AFC North is going to sign Matt Ariza? That's the real question. Who needs a punter?
Not the Ravens, probably the Browns.
no, the Browns got a good punt. Actually, you guys all have good punt.
Actually, after that terrible punt that he had against the Ravens, I would say the Steelers because they were
Yeah.
He had like a 17-yard punt. And
Was it the guy that was from Georgia Tech? The fat.
Doesn't
the
their
fat
punter?
punter?
I was like, doesn't
He's
their
like a-
punter
he's
weigh
like
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 300 pounds?
Hesley or something? It's like Preston.
Presley, yeah, Presley or something.
So if he comes to the Steelers, he's either going to just magically become amazing, stay for 2 seasons, and then go play for the Patriots.
Yeah.
Or what you're gonna have happen is George Pickens next year is gonna turn into like a Pro Bowl wide receiver, and then he's gonna leave in 3 years.
I don't know why, but I
Yeah.
could see George Pickens being like the next Antonio Brown or Juju Smith-Schuster.
So he's going to Kansas City, is what I'm hearing.
Yes.
He's gonna sit out a year, could demand money and demand to be traded next season.
I'll
Okay.
still have. Okay, yeah, let's get on.
Funny thing is, I didn't even introduce everybody yet. I just realized that.
No.
But yeah, I'm your host, Connor. Prying open the door, whatever the
Prying open
window
the window.
is window. Trying to pry. Brett Pry's trying to pry open.
Why are you trying to pry open a window? It's too cold, Connor.
No, we're trying to open a slight window of contention. I highly doubt it, but whatever. The signing day actually gave me some decent amount of hope. False hope, but we'll see. We have Ryan, Fly High 23 Fravel, talking about Ronnie Hillman. Lucas, All for a Girl McKnight. We'll get into that reference in a bit. And then, of course, we got Josh. So, actually, we'll get right into it. So, Peyton Bowen, you was committed to Notre Dame
For a year.
for a year, flips to Oregon, and a day later flips from Oregon to Oklahoma. All supposedly because of his girlfriend who goes to Oklahoma. Is that correct?
And his mom. So when you watch, I'll just put in my thoughts. I never even thought we had a shot at Peyton Bowen until until I saw the edit of him committing. Like, I never thought that he was even a possibility. I heard no talk about it in Oregon talks at all. Obviously, Ryan gave me more information than I heard from any Oregon talks.
Yeah, it was all
any
from
Oregon
Notre
people.
Dame worrying that he was going to flip.
Yeah, and he took the visit to Oregon. It was, I believe, an unofficial. And then that was the last I heard about it. And then next thing I know, he has an Oregon hat and a Notre Dame hat on the table. And he chooses the Oregon hat. And then it's hilarious watching his mom during the whole thing and the whole crowd, because he picks up the Notre Dame hat, puts it on. His mom's like, woo, oh my gosh. He's like, oh, and everybody's like, woo. And then he goes, psych, puts it down, picks up the Oregon hat, and she just goes,
It's like there was there was one mom who went viral because she she had the same reaction. There was one mom who literally got up and left.
I think that was the Georgia, Alabama, right? He chose Bama over Georgia. Or something
Yeah,
like
I
that.
think it was. I think so.
No. It was Ellis. I remember because it was LSU, and he chose Alabama over LSU.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
And she straight up looked really mad. And
Oh,
like,
she walked.
And then
She
the
walked
guy
away.
asked-
She walked out.
Yeah.
Then the guy asked
away.
on TV, he was like, "Who is that?" Just walked away, and he's like, "My mom."
Yeah.
But yeah, so I don't know. I'll just finish my thoughts up. I never really thought we had him in the first place. Same with Ryan. Like Notre Dame has 2 good 4-star safeties that have already committed and signed. Oregon already has 2 4-star safeties that have already committed and signed. So losing him really doesn't hurt that bad.
Mhm.
It was just a really dumb situation, and then not noticing that his girlfriend had committed and signed to Notre Dame or Oklahoma for like soccer or some shit in November. I think that was the biggest part of it. And he put in this whole speech like, "Oh, after consideration, I thought about it. It's not best for my future," all this kind of shit. And it's like, dude, there's women at Notre Dame, there's women at Oregon. Like, I don't know. I just think that he went to the worst situation of the 3 by far. I think Ryan can agree with that. I know Venny is a good coach, but I just don't see Oklahoma flipping things around anytime soon, especially once they
Oklahoma
get to
has
the SEC.
three safeties already in their class. So add Bowen to that. It's like, I mean, I understand he's a 5-star and all, but like, who's to say you're going to be even guaranteed to play when they've got 3 other 4-star safeties in that class? I mean, I look at it.
I commented in his comments. I was like, it's okay. I know you made the wrong decision, but Oregon will be here with open hands when you want to
Enter the
transfer.
Oh,
when that relationship goes sour.
He wants to transfer after they go 6-6 again.
Yep.
But no, so like,
okay. So
go ahead. I'll show you. Go ahead first.
So of course the internet is undefeated when it comes to stuff like this.
Oh, absolutely.
I saw where somebody edited the whole Oregon committed banner because Lucas, you know what that looks like. You know, it's them in Oregon gear in front of the field. There's a duck, you know, cheering in the background. People edited money bags on the field.
Yep.
So I haven't found the Oklahoma one yet, but all right, go ahead, Ryan. That's all I wanted to get in.
No, so like some more background information on it is that his mom has been very pro Notre Dame the entire process. She's been pro Notre Dame.
Where's he from? Where's he from?
He's from Texas.
Texas.
Okay. So his mom has been very pro Notre Dame because she loves Marcus Freeman and the concept of her son getting a degree from Notre Dame. His dad, meanwhile, has a lot of Oklahoma connections. Geyer, his high school, is actually a known Oklahoma basically plant for kids to go from there to Oklahoma. So his dad has been very pro Oklahoma. And it's weird about it is that a couple days before National Signing Day, Dan Lanning was supposed to go to Peyton Bowen's house to have an in-home visit. And Bowen actually called and canceled that visit so that instead Venny from OU could have his visit. So at that point, everybody's like, oh, he's going to go to Oklahoma, blah, 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 blah. Then he has that visit with Notre Dame that his parents weren't even going to allow to happen at first until Marcus Freeman kind of did his thing and got them to allow it. And then the feeling was that, oh, well, it's still going to be Oklahoma, whatever. And then he gets on a group chat call with all of the other Notre Dame 2023 commits and signees, including Marcus Freeman and all the other head coaches. And that was the night before signing day where he said, hey, guys, I'm coming to Notre Dame. I know you've seen all the reports, but I'm sticking in Notre Dame. So everybody's like, oh, okay, cool. That's when Drac Bowen posted that picture of them together saying, you know, remember the promise and all that stuff. Then we get to National Signing Day, and he pulls that whole charade, which I guess we ended up finding out. The reason he had Notre Dame and Oregon on that table was because him and his family had talked the night before, and he said that he was going to pick Notre Dame. That's what they all agreed on. When he flipped to Oregon, that's why his mom was so upset, is because she's like, that's not where you told me you were going to go. And so then it became a whole thing where mom and dad were like, hey, we don't want you going to Oregon, so we're not letting you turn in that paperwork. So they either said it's either Notre Dame or Oklahoma. He then gets on the phone with Marcus Freeman because people didn't report this, but Notre Dame actually pulled their offer from him. And after that whole thing where he committed to Oregon, it kind of left a bad taste in Freeman's mouth. And so they pulled the offer. He calls Freeman back and basically says, hey, can I get my offer back? Can I still go to Notre Dame? And Freeman left it up to the other 2023 commits to kind of have a vote on whether or not that happened. And they all voted against it, which is why he ended up at Oklahoma. Because his girlfriend went there and his mom preferred either Oklahoma or Notre Dame. Only option left was Oklahoma. So, I don't know, man. I know kids make mistakes, but this whole recruiting process is just like, he's not only embarrassed himself, his family, Oregon, Notre Dame, and Oklahoma. And it's like, if I were three schools, I would have just pulled all of our offers at that point. Because it's like, this kid does not seem like he's fully committed to anything. And it's like, I don't understand how hard it is to pick from three schools. I don't understand that.
Well, and it's the weird thing about it too is that it wasn't even really three schools. Like I said, I didn't even hear anything about Oregon in this mix.
I didn't either.
He just had us in there for whatever reason. I don't even know if Lanning really recruited him very hard.
He got confused and saw the O and got the O's mixed up.
Thought it was an OU hat.
and it's Christmas, so he got the green and the red mixed up. So he thought it was OU for a hat.
Well, the hat that he put on was a O with wings, and it was pink. So I don't know.
He's pretty close to red. I mean, you know
maybe he's colorblind. Who knows?
Maybe he's colorblind. I don't know. And then part of the whole thing too, once I started hearing stuff about him on 247, he's small, man. He is not a very big kid.
5'11".
And they were talking about how he's going to have to
5'11". He's a safety?
Yeah. He's 5'11". He's skinny. He's pretty he's athletic, obviously, but he's just a skinny dude. And compared to the guys that we have, I don't know about Notre Dame's guys, but Tyler
all our guys are all 6 foot.
Yeah, and Tyler Turner and Cody DeCambra that we just got.
The only reason you should be that skinny as a safety is if you're tall, like Kyle Hamilton was, where Hamilton was 6'4", 230 or something. And he's just he's not the fastest, but he's tall.
Even Kyle Hamilton wasn't as sought after as Peyton Bowen is, which is weird to think about.
Those metrics.
It's location, though. It's location, 100%. The fact that he went to Geyer is the reason why he's a 5-star. I mean, they're in the public eye, especially in Texas. So,
I mean, Notre Dame has Aiden Schuler, who's the number 1 player in New Jersey, as a safety, and he's 6'2", 220. So he's basically already got his size. Bowen, I believe, was 5'11", 170, 175.
Yeah, he's probably 175.
I mean, he's fast. I think he had the second fastest 40 time of the entire 2023 class. But I mean, what's that going to what's that going to do when you're facing a team like a Clemson that's got a 240-pound back coming straight at you, and you got to
and then you got to think about it too. He's going to be playing in the SEC here soon. So
he's going to get.
I mean, that's in 2 years' time.
2024, right?
I think it's 2025.
No, it's 24.
It's 4.
2024.
And then same thing with UCLA. I know they're moving in 2024, so they're all moving not next year, but the year after that. Okay.
I mean, I understand the whole 5-star status, and it looks nice on paper, and it looks great in the rankings. But I mean, Lucas can attest to this, and I think all of us can. That safety is not the most important position on the field. I mean, you can have guys play safety. I mean, when Kyle Hamilton went down for Notre Dame in 2021. We had guys that were 3 or 4 stars, and they came in.
Quarterback is the more important.
Yes,
and then you can move people from corner to safety if you need to.
So, 5-star safety.
Even in college, a lot of times they put backers at safety and.
the Virginia Tech had a guy named Mansour Delaney who came out of was it Archbishop Spalding, which was a school like 5 minutes north of where I live in Maryland. And he was a safety, and they moved him to the corner, and then he was played at like an all ACC level actually for most of the year, and I think he was on an all rookie team for the ACC, or all freshman team.
I mean,
they moved. So like, if you're a cornerback, you can be moved, or if you're a safety, you can be moved to corner. But corner to safety is a little different.
And I always think that 5-star status doesn't really mean anything in terms of till you get to college, because how many 5-stars from last year's class didn't either play, or they did play and they played like crap. I mean, what Kyle? I mean, what Benjamin Morrison made the All-American team for freshmen this year in college football for Notre Dame. He was barely a 3-star, but he played like a 5-star.
I think it's position-wise, though.
Yeah.
I think defensive linemen that are rated 5 stars, they're more likely than not elite players. I mean, you look at JT Tuimoloau, or however you say his last name, for Ohio State this year, was an insane player this year for them. He was a 5-star, number 1 player in the country. Obviously, you look at like Kayvon Thibodeau. You look at I believe Myles Garrett was a 5-star. Like, you look at a lot of these 5-star D linemen and how good they usually, more likely than not.
Look at Isaiah Foskey at Notre Dame. I mean, he's going to be projected first-round pick, and he was a 3-star coming out. I mean, I hate these rankings because I feel like a lot of times it's like, oh, you play in Texas, you play in Cali, you play in Florida, therefore your rankings are going to go up because you play in those locations. But I mean, what is it? The DT for Georgia this year, who's really good. His first round pick. Yeah, he was a 3-star. Nobody was talking about it. He was ranked outside the top 1,000 players. And look how good he is for Georgia. I mean, I don't know.
That's why we're seeing a lot more kids transfer in high school as well. Like, you look at Jurion Dickey. He was I can't remember the high school name, so I'm not even going to try to pretend like I know, but he was at a high school for 3 years. He was a borderline 4-star, 3-star guy, and then he transferred high schools, and now he's a 5-star, number 2 wide receiver in the country, Oregon commit. So, like, you're going to see a lot more of that, I think, in high school now too, just with the media covering these certain high schools and whatnot, especially in like the 3 main states of high school football, which are Florida, Texas, and California.
All right, so I guess we'll use this as a segue to get into our next thing. We asked Jalen this, but we didn't get a chance to talk about it ourselves. What are your guys' thoughts on NIL and transfer portal? Do you think it's ruining college football? Or, I mean, how do you guys think this will affect college football going forward?
Well, I can't remember. Someone said, we mentioned it earlier, back when we talked about this a few weeks ago. Can't remember what we said, but I know we had not agreed upon, but we had mentioned some way that would have made more sense. I think what would help is giving a better period of time, or a more clear period of time for when all the transfer stuff happens, because games are still going on and these players are transferring and stuff, and that's dividing these coaches' attention, right? I think it should be at least transfer portal should be all after the season.
Like a transfer period.
Exactly.
Where you get like
after the season.
Get like 4 weeks to go to put your name into the transfer portal after the season's officially over in January 9th or January 10th when it usually is, and then you have until June to make a decision.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's makes sense.
I mean, I look at it and I don't have an issue with NIL and the transfer portal in general. The main thing is like what it was meant to be and then what it is. So like what NIL was meant to be was, a way for kids to make money while they're doing the work for the school. It wasn't meant to be an enticing thing to for recruits. It wasn't meant to be used to buy kids to come play for you. It was meant to, once you get to campus and you do the work, then you get money. But now these kids are getting money, and it's either these schools don't actually have to guarantee you that because you're not guaranteed anything, as we've seen with the Jordan Addison situation. And then two, these kids don't realize that if somebody offers you $1 million to go play at Alabama, basically cut that in half. So you're basically, because of taxes and all that stuff, and a lot of kids don't realize that. And I think a lot of kids now don't also realize it shouldn't, where you go to college, what should determine that more isn't NIL. It should be NFL potential, because you could get $500,000 after taxes, everything's out for your family. And that'll help you live comfortably and stuff. But what are you gonna do when you get hurt? That money's not gonna last you the rest of your life. What you want to go somewhere where
It's also, but the other thing is schools, sure, well, all the 5 stars are the ones you think will make it, but then you have schools who historically, like Virginia Tech, who turn these low 3-star players into NFL prospects, right? Mm-hmm. So they're not the ones getting the money, at least at the beginning, right? I mean, they're still, at least not the big money. They can still now get a deal with, a small, business or something.
I just don't think these kids are really educated in terms of, how money works, what, when they're signing stuff, what that all means. I mean, also, look at the transfer portal. I mean, I hate it because now Notre Dame's been caught tampering with the whole Sam Hartman situation. But, colleges are going to start doing that now. And it's sad when you see the NFL, and the NFL has a better handle on their whole situation than the college football does. I mean,
well, they've also been doing it for 100 years. So,
I mean, but it's not that hard to get somebody to monitor. Hey, if a coach reaches out to a kid and it's being reported on that, hey, Drake May is getting offered $5 million by Alabama to come be their quarterback and leave North Carolina in the dust. If that's being reported, then those names of those coaches should be given out and given to the NCAA so that there are repercussions for that, but there's not. And
well, it's part of an investigation period, though. It's not. You're not guilty until proven otherwise. So you can't. It would be say Oregon was oh, Kalen DeBoer, the head coach for Washington, is calling us about Bucky Irving to get him over there and whatnot, and they're trying to get Bucky Irving over there. NCAA should put a stop to this. And then Kalen DeBoer is obviously, no matter if he is or not, say I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about. That's not happening. And then the NCAA is well, we got it reported, so here, you're suspended for a year. Stuff like that. I mean, I think you'd have to have some sort of proof. I do agree that the tampering is bad, and there should be some sort of block or a wall in between.
But it's you can always have a third party or something reach out and I believe with Drake May, it was a third party.
League.
Yeah.
It still happens in the league. It happens in the NBA. It happens in all of these different things. I mean, what?
It's just now. New York? It's just now. There's a way to see it, and it's more.
But I mean, do you guys think that eventually, with this new NCAA president, that he's going to start cracking down on this stuff? And do you think that he will?
I hope so.
Do you think this will turn into teams like UC or USC with what they did with Jordan Addison? Do you think that we could see repercussions in the future for what they did recently?
I don't think. Here's the thing. Okay. I don't think USC did anything wrong with Jordan Addison's situation. I really don't.
I mean, there's.
I disagree too.
There's a difference between in the middle of the season, taking someone out from another coach's nose and all that, whatever, but I really don't see an issue. They said, hey, come out here, you can do all this stuff, blah, 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 blah. We're going to have a whole new coach, new offense for you. And he said yes.
Well, you don't
the
think there's
issue
anything.
is he wasn't in the transfer portal when they started talking.
That's what we're
That's
talking
my
about.
problem.
Is like we don't care if you go in the portal and somebody's enticing you, but we're more talking about like a Drake May who has already stated that he's not going to enter the transfer portal, and these schools are still
And he's
offering
being
him
solicited.
yes
Yeah.
$5 million
Yeah.
and basically trying to be bribed to enter the portal.
Mm.
That's where I think
Yeah,
it's like
that's-
these
that's
kids.
for
That's a slap in the face to North Carolina, and there has to be
I
some
think-
protection for these smaller schools that can't recruit at the same level as an Alabama or Georgia, and they're getting these players like a Desmond Ritter or like a Drake May, like those guys who go to those smaller schools and end up being legit NFL prospects. Those schools should have protections to be able to hold on to those guys.
Yeah.
They shouldn't
Well,
just be like willy nilly. Oh, here, come to Alabama and be our quarterback for a year for $5 million.
yeah. Well, I'm not about the drama or anything, but I think that would happen a lot less if people name names. I mean, it's
Yeah.
not like they don't know who's calling these kids. It's not like the kids don't know they're talking to this person or, you know.
For sure, and that's what actually recently Deion Sanders came out against Norvell because of the Travis Hunter situation. Because Norvell was in contact with Travis Hunter before he even entered the portal, and obviously Deion Sanders. I mean, I'm not a fan of Deion Sanders. I think I really honestly pray on his downfall.
I do too.
I hope he does terrible, but he does have a bit of a point there. Obviously, he knew Travis Hunter was going to come to Colorado, whether he told him to or not. And he was getting notice from Travis Hunter that Norvell was in contact with him before he even entered the portal to get him to Florida State. So
was that what that whole beef on Twitter was with Hakeem Williams and all that
yeah,
stuff?
no, I mean, kind of. It was mostly Williams was just talking shit because obviously Hunter said that he was going to go to Florida State for like the longest time, and then was like, "Nah, I'm going with Deion." And then it was kind of like the Peyton Bowen thing. He like switched at the last second for no reason other than to play with Deion. And then Williams was like, "I'm not going to pull a Travis Hunter. I'm sticking with the Knowles. I'm going to stay here." And then Hunter was like, "I was in contact with Norvell. Like he wants me here. They would pick me over you any day of the week." And he was just talking all kinds of shit. It was pretty gnarly, but yeah, I do want to touch on for myself some that Ryan said about like the NIL. I think with NIL, what it was meant for is to have like obviously name, image, likeness. It's to have some sort of sponsorship, like you're a NASCAR driver or you're a track and field guy in the Olympics or something like that. You're sponsored by a certain thing, and we're not seeing that. Like these kids are getting paid money. Who's sponsoring them? Who are their sponsors? Who are their like what are these endorsement deals with?
I got you, Lucas. So that is actually happening. It's just not what's making the news.
But that's what I want to see.
There are smaller.
That's why I'm not seeing.
Yeah, well, there are smaller colleges, and I'll use Kentucky as an example.
We've seen what Michael Penix did with his stuff. We've seen what the General Booty did when we've seen that when NIL first came out. Like all these kids started doing. I haven't seen anything on Twitter from guys doing their own merch or anything since then. Because,
lucky for you, Ryan. Josh was just about to tell us. All right, go ahead, buddy.
Excellent. But what I have seen, at least with Kentucky, is like I know Will Levis had like a sponsorship from a couple golf courses in Lexington because he played golf. Some dealerships had days where you could go in, like car dealerships, and there would be like Chris Rodriguez there, and you could sign it. And there's, they're making money doing stuff like that, and it's just not what's making the news. What's making the news is, Texas A&M shells out $2 million for the best recruiting class in friggin' forever, and half of them transferred.
Yeah.
They took their money and ran.
That makes sense. I mean, I did see something with Noah Sewell this last year. Obviously, he wasn't recruited during the NIL times, so he didn't get it right away. But he had this this Airbnb, this like Oregon Airbnb thing in Eugene, where it was like all decked out throughout the whole house and Oregon shit, like Noah Sewell stuff. So, I guess if I spent some more time in Eugene, I would probably see a lot more of that. But it's just, yeah, you're right. It's just something that we're not seeing. Like, I mean, obviously Mateo Uyunglele got some sort of something, you know, for signing with the Ducks. Obviously, you're not going to just go to Oregon, or you're not going to just go somewhere unless you're going to have an NIL.
Oregon cannot deny that nor confirm it. So
yeah, I mean, the thing with Oregon, though, is a little bit different, and it's a little bit better for them. Obviously, that not a lot of colleges can have this, but the fact that Oregon has Nike, and they could just be like, hey, throw Nike shit on everything you have. There's your NIL. Like, it's that simple. It's all we have to do. There's a lot of schools that don't have that, but I'm surprised that Miami doesn't take advantage of that. Like, why don't they throw the bowl on everything, Under Armour on everything because of Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson? Like, they could do things like
because
this.
they're Adidas. That's why they have an Adidas deal.
Well, that's their problem, I guess. They should take advantage of the Rock a little bit.
Notre Dame should reach out to the Rock. That'd be cool.
Well, he didn't go to Notre Dame.
Hey, but we're Under Armour.
As far as
the only reason Under Armour is still relevant at this point.
Notre Dame.
Oh, jeez.
Is there any other team that wears Under Armour uniforms still?
Maybe Maryland, probably.
Cincinnati. Maryland, South Carolina, I think does too.
South Carolina. Navy does. Wait, Navy, do they? I think they do.
Oh, jeez. Anyways, as far as
they have Tom Brady and Steph Curry, that's all. Okay.
Yeah, as far as the NIL and transfer portal ruining college football, I think it's changing it, and I think we did go a little too much too fast. I think we needed to just kind of slow that down. Maybe there do need to be some more regulations on who gets NIL, who's eligible for NIL. That transfer portal window sounded like a good idea, but
this is the last thing I'll say on it is we had Notre Dame's recruits after signing day. Their parents came out on Twitter and was talking about how their kids received offers of millions of dollars, and that the coaches explained to them, because they asked the coaches, how does this NIL thing work? And they're like, well, to be honest, we don't really know. It's all the Wild West at this point. And then what was it? Keon Keeley's mom responded, the former Notre Dame commit who's just committed to Alabama. And she's like, no, well, it's not all about money. My son didn't go to Alabama because of the money. We had other schools offer more money than Alabama did, but Alabama offered us $1 million. She deleted that tweet right after she sent it out because she basically snitched on Alabama.
And Saban's like, you're not getting this money anymore. Okay. So we're going to wrap it up with reacting to the bowl games that have been played so far. Right now, there is a tie for first in our pick'ems at 11-4. There's Ladies First and Benji Walters. I don't know who those guys are.
Benjamin is one of the guys I do that Notre Dame pod with.
And I am in a 4-way tie at 10-5 for third.
Oh, I'm 8-7. At least I'm above 500.
And
I'm 9-6.
Where are you on here, Josh? What's your name?
Oh, which one? Should be. Oh, hold on. Did you guys do a separate one from last year, or did I get on the right one? It should be.
I've gotten on the wrong. No, dude.
I might have gotten on the wrong one.
I think you got on the wrong one.
Because there's another one.
It's all right.
I could add it.
What's your record?
Oh, God. I have to look it up.
Okay.
I'm doing pretty well.
Keep us updated on your record.
I think the one we all got wrong was Jackson State, because I think we all took that.
Meanwhile, I'm out here just dropping every single game. Like
Yeah,
I dropped.
I'm not doing very well.
UTSA, Washington State.
I know we all took South Alabama. And
I believe we all took UTSA as well.
I think we all did too. Yeah.
Did I? No, I took Troy.
You did? Okay.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, no,
Damn it, Baylor really.
Oh, I took Troy too. Sorry.
Yeah, I remember me and Lucas, I think, took Air Force. Air Force was 27% picked. Everyone was taking
Well,
Baylor.
I was going to
They
take.
smacked
Oh,
them.
Air Force beat Baylor. Oh.
30 to 15. They smacked them. It was like 30 to
Oh,
3.
jeez.
And I took Missouri against Wake Forest because I didn't know Sam Hartman was playing until.
Yeah,
I also took Missouri, but we'll be all right. Don't worry about it.
Womp, womp, womp.
That's the only game that's today. It looks like is that
Houston
game.
already beat Louisiana today.
Okay, so I got that one right.
Oh, I got that right.
See,
And then tomorrow the only game is
I took Houston.
Middle Tennessee State versus San Diego State.
I took San Diego State.
I'm pretty sure I took
so Who do you
SDSU.
guys?
Who are you guys
So far,
some of the games?
well, so far, who do you guys think is the top performer? In my opinion, the top performers of the bowl season so far, I'm gonna say Western Kentucky, and I know they played South Bama, which obviously isn't like
10 and 2.
They're not usually that great.
3 touchdowns.
But they won by a lot, and Austin Reed, he said he's coming back next year, so that's huge. I think the Hilltoppers might be they might be a decent team next year. I mean, ended 9-5, they might be decent.
I would say for me is also Eastern Michigan, because I remember watching the beginning of that game, and San Jose State scores a touchdown, and then Michigan State on like their first or second play from scrimmage on their first drive fumbles it, and I'm like, oh dear God, San Jose State's about to run away with it, but they are unable to score, and
the block field goal.
The guy they made, instead of 14s there, they made 13-2, and then they kind of ran it away from there. I mean, the obvious one that is important to us is Frank Gore Jr. also going fucking off.
Nuts.
It's a bowl record for rushing yards, right?
Bowl season record. Yep, no running
It's
back
like
has ever done that.
325, right?
325.
Jesus.
And he had a passing touchdown.
I mean, that's his thing though. He has passed. And honestly, the other one that was most impressive was Oregon State. Honestly, I didn't think it was going to be that much of a blowout.
Yeah, but when you see, I mean, like, all credit to Oregon State. Like, I'm super stoked for those guys. A 10-win season.
Only the third ever in school history.
Only the third ever 10-win season in school history. I think it's great. Last time they did it, I believe, was when Jonathan Smith, who is their head coach now, was the starting quarterback, and he had Chad Johnson.
That was when they beat Notre Dame, right?
Yeah, when they smashed Notre Dame in the bowl game. Probably could have gone. Probably should have gone to the national championship that year if they didn't fall apart.
What year was that?
2000.
Okay.
No, I think it was 2000.
Interesting.
But the thing about it is, Florida.
They didn't have AR-15 either.
They had like 4 opt-outs, like of starters.
AR-15 wasn't there,
AR-15.
But
like,
I mean, he wasn't very good either.
Yeah,
he's at least worth what?
He's at least worth 2 touchdowns, maybe.
I mean, but also Oregon. I mean, Florida also kept their win. Their score.
Well, I will say, watching that game, for them to get 6 wins, I'm going to give Anthony Richardson more credit for getting that team to 6 wins because how bad that team is.
That Utah game that they were going to be good.
I mean, that team is bad. You take AR-15 off that team, and that team barely doesn't even make a bowl game. So, I mean, that team was terrible. It doesn't help that their backup quarterback, got arrested for being a pedo. But
well, I mean, you had Billy Napier down there. I mean, he did not recruit at the level that's required to recruit down at Florida. That's why they got rid of him.
Apparently, he didn't keep recruiting
I'm
during
sorry.
the season. That's the rumor, is what I've heard.
Oh, he didn't?
Either that was whoever he replaced was the rumor that the guy he replaced wouldn't recruit during the season.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I'm sorry, I messed it up. Yeah, Dan Mullen doesn't recruit. But
Yeah, right.
that's exactly what happened. Oh yeah, that's right. And then they left Sunbelt Billy down there with an empty pantry.
Sunbelt Billy.
So we're at 15 games. We're just over we're about a quarter to a third of the way through. Who is your I guess you could say bummer,
most disappointing,
or the most disappointing team that you thought was gonna more you would not a guarantee.
I gotta go.
Guarantee, but
I gotta go Washington State.
I was gonna pick that one too.
Man, they just looked really, really bad, and I don't know why. Like, I mean, Fresno State's not like a game. They're not world records. And their offense just looked atrocious. Only 6 points. I don't know. Made the Pac-12 look pretty bad there. I'm glad that Oregon State was able to throttle an SEC team, because
the other for me is Cincinnati, because I mean.
Oh, I was hoping somebody would bring that up.
Louisville smacked them.
Yeah.
No, that's the type of score where you're like, if you watch some of the highlights, you're like, that score is not indicative of how dominant Louisville was at times. Like, that should have been a much bigger win.
And there's a lot of storylines to that game too.
Yeah, because Satterfield is the new head coach for Cincinnati. Louisville, I guess, just went in and just be like, you made the wrong decision, smacked him upside the head.
And you know what's funny about that? Like, so their coach, Satterfield left Louisville to go coach Cincinnati, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then he gets smacked by his former team. And not only that, but one of my buddies who I played against in Illinois high school football, he originally committed to Cincinnati. He's been in Cincy for 2-3 years maybe. And right after, like a week after that game, he transferred from Cincinnati to Louisville. He was one of Cincinnati's top players and recruits. His name's Jaden Thompson, and he's like, "Hey, I'm out of here, peace." And then goes to Louisville.
Was that that had to have been after.
It was after
the Jeff. Yeah, well, after Jeff Brom took the Louisville job.
Yeah.
Yeah. By the way, that is an old rivalry game. It's called
East, right? The Big East.
The American Conference. Yeah. And it's called the Keg of Nails.
Ooh.
Cincinnati versus Louisville?
Yeah.
Also, to point out for the bowl games, we got to talk about Connor's boy, the greatest quarterback in Baltimore Ravens history, Super Bowl champion Trent Dilfer, getting his first college coaching gig at UAB, winning a bowl game this last.
Oh my God, I forgot about that.
Already almost got canceled because he walked over and gave one of the cheerleaders his Super Bowl ring to look at, and it was caught on camera. It looked really, really sus and really bad.
Hey, he's a dilf, man.
But he is a dilf. He is a dilf. But yeah, good for old Trent Dilfer, man. Winning a bowl game I think it was his first ever college coach game. So
that Super Bowl for him. That Super Bowl is probably the worst Super Bowl in terms of combined quarterback play.
Offense, Kerry Collins
Kerry Collins, that I think is the worst quarterback performance in a Super Bowl ever by Kerry Collins. I think he had less than he had like under. It was like a 10 passer rating or something. Like if he spiked the ball under the ground on every play, he'd get like a 40.
Well, he was also playing against probably the second best defense of all time.
That's true.
But I'll go ahead with mine next. I had kind of two disappointing teams. It was SMU with Tanner Mordecai against BYU, and then
that one hurt my soul, man. Didn't it? I wanted that. So bad.
I just noticed they won by 1 point. I got BYU right
because they went for 2, right?
They went for 2 for the win. Yeah, But it honestly should not have been that close.
Did SMU go for 2?
Yeah, SMU went for 2.
Yeah.
But the thing is, people don't realize that BYU is really freaking garbage. And the fact that SMU could only score 24 on that team, like...
Ryan? Right. People don't realize, maybe I haven't vocalized this enough throughout the season. BYU is trash. BYU has been trash.
Ever since
I don't know why people
left.
And we're also seeing that Zach Wilson was a lie because he's probably now an all-time NFL.
Hey, Mike White. Hey, no. It's more Mike White is just flat out better than Zach Wilson.
Dude, he's not even. Mike White's not even the best quarterback on that roster. Steve Reister or whatever the fuck that guy's name was. I don't know where did that guy come from. Can somebody tell me who he is and where he came from? The quarterback that came in for the Jets.
Oh,
please,
my God.
Because I've never heard of his name ever in my life.
It sounds like a Madden creative player name.
It was like Stevens.
That's what everyone was joking about. That's what he was.
Stebler or something like that, or Stebler.
He's from South. No, I know where he is. South Dakota State. That's Chris Strebler.
No. Minnesota and South Dakota, not South Dakota State. He went undrafted in 2018. Played 2 seasons as a backup for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Where
he went up north.
Where he went up north of the Canadian Football League. He won a Grey Cup. He won a Grey Cup in 2019, and then apparently he played for the Cardinals in 2020. Oh my God, he was with the Ravens?
All I remember him
he was on the Ravens practice squad.
All I remember from
last year.
The only reason I even know who that guy is because in Madden, when I do a franchise rebuild, I look for a trash ass QB that has a ton of speed. And he's a 54 overall, but he's got 90 speed.
Did you see how bad that pass was though that he completed, where he underthrew the ball by 10 yards, and it would have been a touchdown if he had actually properly led the receiver?
Yeah. Well, he's bad. He's not supposed to ever be playing.
And yet he's still better than Zach fucking Wilson.
Okay, I really needed.
Hey, I think Brett Griffin might be
okay, let's try and get this under now. Is there anything else we have to say about the bowl games?
I had one more team.
Okay.
The other team that was disappointing was South Alabama. I mean, they were 10-2 this year.
USA fucked up.
They should have. They if they would have just beaten Troy, they lost to Troy by a point in the regular season. If they just would have held on to that win, they would have been playing in the Sun Belt Championship.
They lost by a total of 5 points in their 2 losses.
And they lost to UCLA. They lost to UCLA at UCLA because of a missed field goal. And they lost to Troy at home by a point. I mean, that is
brutal.
But just for them to get blown out by Western Kentucky, I mean, no offense to the conference, like Conference USA, but Western Kentucky has 5 losses in the Conference USA. That's a pretty weak conference outside of UTSA. And I don't know. South Alabama just really disappointed me. That running back that's 5'6", but 260 pounds and led all of college football in running yard. Yeah. He just did nothing in that game. I don't understand.
Okay. Well, we'll be back. So I guess that's it. We'll be back next week to talk about the preview for the college football playoff because those games will be that Saturday night or Friday night.
And also,
is it New Year's Day or New Year's Eve? I always forget.
New Year's Day.
New Year's Day.
They might have one on New Year's Eve.
The playoff games are both on New Year's Eve.
No, it's New Year's Eve. Yeah.
Okay. I think it's that night. It's Friday, right?
No, it is Saturday.
It's Saturday. There isn't a game on New Year's Day, which is weird.
Isn't that normally when the Rose Bowl is played, though?
It's usually when the Rose Bowl is played, but I think that's wait.
There's some games on the first.
No, there's none, actually. It's because it's a Sunday. It's because it's a Sunday, and that's college or NFL. Yeah.
Screw the NFL, man. They don't own a day.
I'm starting to say that too.
Okay, so Friday to talk about to preview the bowl game, those 2 games, and recap the other bowl games that have been played since then. Real quick, what have you guys asked for Santa for Christmas?
Ask for Christmas. I already opened my shit. I don't even.
I already
know.
got my
Well,
gifts. It's kind of awkward.
I've got like since my birthday's in December, so I get like halfway through the month, I get a gift, and then
You get
Christmas I get a gift.
This is my
Not
gift.
really. It's not that nice.
I can't put it on because my head's too big.
So
I got something.
I went home early. I went home last week, and we exchanged Christmas gifts early. But then I got all my Santa gifts, as my mom likes to joke, before everyone else. So I'm just sitting there opening all my gifts, just awkwardly, just sitting there. And I know he's a piece of shit human being, but I finally got what I always want, a pair of these that I always wanted, a pair of Yeezys.
Nice.
And now that he's no longer, that they're going to keep making these, but not, have him be part of it, I can be a little bit more comfortable buying these. You know what I mean? So
Hey, you know what? I got me like 3 years ago some Air Force One Red Octobers. And guess where they've been sitting for 3 years?
In the box.
In the box.
Dude, you gotta
Air
can't do
Force
that to
Ones
them;
are
they'll
the
fall apart.
Air Force Ones
Ryan,
are the
Ryan,
worst.
you know what you
You
should
can't
do?
keep them from
What you should
creasing.
do, just
They're
give-
blocky as
Just
hell.
give us some of that money you're about to get, and then we'll buy it we'll buy shoes.
We'll all buy a bunch of shoes that'll just stay in the box.
Yeah, guys,
I will buy the $20,000 pair of working Back to the Future Nikes that actually work. They're
Oh,
like
so-
20
oh yeah, the self-tightening ones.
the self-tightening ones. They made those in 2013 or something. They actually work.
2015.
Sorry, whatever. I know they made a bunch of them. So
I'm gonna start getting into some of that fashion that I got him that job.
Don't get all. I got him. Don't get all freaking bougie on us.
I'm gonna
You
start
got-
getting into that like James Harden or
No.
so like that style
Oh.
of dressing.
Oh, okay. So Ryan and Connor, you guys might not. I'm pretty much going to do this just to rub this in the face of Lucas. It's what is that? What is? Oh, is that a standard capacity magazine?
Oh, I don't want to hear.
Can't have those no more, can you?
Hey, we're grandfathered in. It's all right. We'll be all right. We'll be chill.
That's a joke, Connor.
It got pushed back. It got
It did?
pushed back into
Okay,
mid-January, so we
Good.
don't got to do it quite yet. Yet my boss is like, nope, we got to start already. We got to start it.
Anyways,
Meanwhile,
I asked for a desktop, so I'm gonna be putting a desk together, setting up a.
For my birthday gift or something.
I asked my fiance
Ryan,
for.
Ryan, how about you just buy me and Lucas new desktop PCs?
Yeah, so I can pay you guys to fucking edit.
Yeah, exactly. if you get us the desktop,
Start them at start them at real low rate, dude. Just low
Give them $1 an hour.
minimum
There we
wage,
go.
less than minimum wage. Let's do.
No, that'll
Hey,
be my
more than what I'm getting now. So
No, Ryan, I'm actually kind of serious. I will edit if you like, because my thing actually sucks. Like my PC is 5 years old and it's slow as shit.
Connor is
Yeah,
down
yeah.
bad when it comes to PC.
You know what the
I'm not
first
gonna
thing
lie.
I'm
Connor is down bad.
The first thing
Dude,
I'm
I'm so
doing
down
is
bad.
I'm buying
PC
I'm
sucks.
buying us.
My laptop's being slow as shit. All my computers are hating me right now for some reason.
The first thing I'm doing is I'm buying us each a shit ton of Dubby, and then we're gonna
put in our liquor.
That's not a bad idea.
Now,
That way we can all hold it up at the same time.
No,
We'll get a better sponsor, dude.
no, I'll
You're putting
pay
this
to
on there.
own Dubby.
They haven't
There we
even
go.
promoted us yet. That ain't no
They
sponsor.
haven't.
That ain't no sponsor. I'm gonna talk my talk. They won't
Okay,
even see
Let's
this.
end
They
this.
don't
Let's
even
end
know
this
we
for
exist.
under an hour. So get
Heck
some
yeah.
put in your liquor. It tastes great.
This
It's
is
good
why-
energy. So
Hey, no,
for Josh, NIL, money please, Brian. For Lucas,
man.
all for Go McKnight. For Ryan, Fly High 23 Fravel. I'm Connor. Prying, open the window, Doherty. This has been the Weezer Podcast. We'll be back next Friday to preview the college football playoffs. Until then, peace out.